You know him from The Daily Show. You know him from his weekly sets on YouTube. Please make a bunch of noise right now for my friend Josh Johnson!
I think that the gift that someone gives you says a lot about who they think you are. I was given a gift by a friend, and I could tell that he hadn't given gifts to people who weren't like in his immediate family or people he was dating, you know? Because there are some people, they're very good at giving gifts. They have a real talent. It's an impeccable, like uncanny way that they can just tell what you need or what you'd really enjoy, and they get you that exact thing without you even having to say it. And then there are men. And so my buddy got me a gift. Usually when you give someone a gift, they're like family or it's a special occasion. You know you're gonna have to get them a gift, right? It's rare, especially as you get older, to make a friend and become close enough that you need to get them a gift. That's like a barrier that some people just don't. Like if you're a coworker and y'all have been hanging out outside of work and everything, and then Christmas comes around, you're like, you know what? Let me get my coworker, let me get my buddy a Christmas gift. You don't have to. They may not be expecting it, but someone has to like make that jump first. And my friend got me a gift, and you could tell I was the first person outside of like family or a girlfriend that he had to get a gift for, because he got me socks. And when I say socks, understand, I mean a pair. Not like a bunch of socks, not a bunch of different crazies. He got me socks, and I don't know what that says about me. I don't know what that says he thinks about, because I've never been around him barefoot. I've never given the indication that socks is what I'm missing. I've never been in sandals around him. I've never had ashy feet. He's never seen my toenails. There's no reason socks I'd look covered for, you know. And so he got me these socks, and if you're gonna give somebody, as a gift, if you're gonna give somebody socks, just hand them to them. This man put the socks in a bag that was nicer than the socks. The bag was very nice. I thought he got me a watch or something. The bag looked designer. And it had too much tissue paper in it. You could tell he had never got anybody else a gift before, because the level of tissue paper was clearly all the tissue paper that came when he bought tissue paper. It was every sheet of tissue paper was open and then crinkled in the back. It took me a magician's amount of time to pull all the tissue paper out of this bag. And I was pulling so much tissue paper out, I thought he got me nothing. That would have been better and funny. That would have been dope if at the end I pull out tissue paper and he's like, ah, you know what I mean? Instead, I pull out the last piece of tissue paper, and at the bottom, flat, is socks. And I'm not, look, any gift, any action like that, any act of love like that, I genuinely appreciate. And so I said thank you instead of why. I could have said why. I was thinking why. But I said thank you, right? And inspected the socks a little bit, and there was something amiss, because it was two socks. But one sock had an R on it. And one sock had an L on it. And these, for the final time, weren't novelty socks. They weren't like a cool designer thing. The R and the L looked written. So, you are indicating I need a ton of help. I don't know what I have done or said around this man to be given a sock with an R on it and a sock with an L on it, because when they make socks, they leave it up to you. When all these sock makers make socks, they're like, you know what? I bet he gonna figure it out. You know, I don't even think you could do it wrong unless you put 2 on 1. He gave me a sock with an R and a sock with an L, and had the absolute audacity to smile at me and nod, waiting for his thank you like a little kid. It's wedding season, and I've been to a ton of weddings. In my life, I've been to a lot of weddings. A lot of people that I know love people. And I will say, outside, the only like good weddings I've been to are my girlfriend's friends and some of my family. Anytime it's my friend getting married, it is a disaster in one way or another. Weddings already make me nervous. Weddings make me very, very nervous sometimes because I want everything to go well for them. You know, I get nervous for the bride and the groom. Not even that I think that they're gonna mess up, they're gonna do anything. I just want it to be, you spend so much money on a day like this. You want it to be perfect, you know? And it's two people that love each other, that made a moment for everyone that they love to be there together. I want it to go perfect for them. And I've been to plenty of beautiful weddings, truly amazing weddings. But there are a few aspects of every wedding where things could go wrong. You know, this is where you're starting to spin some plates, make sure everything's on. The ceremony, right? A lot of people do the ceremony different by culture, sometimes just different by personality. So there's a lot of different things in there that you have to be on top of. Do you have a wedding planner? Do you not have a wedding planner? Whatever it is, there's so many details, you know? Vows. There was okay. I think it's beautiful when people write their own vows. I do. I think it's very sweet because it's very easy to go up there, you know, and just do what you're quote unquote supposed to do. I'm not saying there's any right or wrong way to do it, but people clearly put some specific thought into what they wanted to say. And I think that for them, that's amazing, you know, because every relationship is different. Some people need to say some extra stuff on top of the baseline stuff. Just to make sure, okay, but in front of everybody. God. And I've been to plenty of weddings where people write their own vows, and it shows the relationship that they've built over the time that they were together, engaged, everything, and it shows what's important to them specifically in this relationship. But there was one wedding where they wrote their own vows, and she went first, and they were beautiful. They were commitments that she was making in front of everyone to him, things that she was going to do because she knew how important they were to him, and ways that she would nurture him and make him feel like the person that he felt that day, right? We're going to keep this moment forever. And he also had some beautiful, beautiful vows, commitments that he was making to her, that he wanted her to understand he would keep until the day that he died. The only problem is he wrapped them. This man wrapped the vows and didn't tell anybody he was gonna do it. This man wrapped the vows, and even the pastor was like, I don't rap at all, but I've never rapped in a way that made someone lean away from me. Also, just throwing this out there, if you're gonna rap at all, like if you're gonna rap, like, cause there was no beat. He just went full 8 Mile last verse with it. And if you're gonna go a cappella, just start rapping. This man kicked it off with a, If your vows start with there's just you're in the most singular relationship of human history. Like, and it wasn't just like it was, never start rapping like you about to double dutch. This man over here. You could tell she wanted to be like, what's happening? She is probably watching him just praying it's a stroke. Like, that's... A stroke would at least mean everybody gonna feel bad for you. We can come back later, do this whole thing again. This man over here... double, Either do it or don't. Don't. This man rapped his vows, and they were a couple pages long. They went on for a while, and when he got done, the pastor was like, so, do you take that and she said no. And to be clear, she didn't just flat out hit him with a no. She went, which is a reasonable response. But I was split on it, because it's like, you're getting married, and if you're gonna marry someone, you should know whether they're gonna impromptu rap or not. Like, that feels like a very particular trait. If that went over your head, y'all have problems as a couple that need to be worked out that are beyond the hip hop. Cause it's like that. It was tough. It was tough. Cause on one hand, I was like, I get it, and on the other, I was like, all right, but like, once you're engaged, I feel like the ick's gotta go out the window. Do you know what I mean? Like, love is supposed to go over ick. When you are with the person and you declare you're gonna be with a person for the rest of your life, you do take on their embarrassment. Like, think about it. Like, you'll be married one day being like, yeah, that over there embarrassing me, that's who till we die, I'm gonna be embarrassed. That's what I signed up for. Well, the ceremonies are also short. Like, as much of the wedding day is about the couple, the actual ceremony is usually not that long. You know? And I've been to full-on, like, mass Catholic weddings where even the priest was like, okay. But there's just so many different things that could go off the rails, you know? There's that moment in a lot of weddings, especially when you do the traditional vows, traditional reading and everything, where they say, if anyone has cause, if anyone, it's different wording in different places, but if anyone knows why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace. And most weddings I've been to, everybody at least look. I'm not saying they look because they don't believe in the couple. I think they look to see if there's drama is about to occur. You don't want somebody to stand up and then you got to turn around all late and stuff. You know, you just give it a quick little, just dignified, sophisticated, quick little I, okay, all right. You don't turn all the way around. A lot of weddings I've been to, people look. And there's also the officiant, you know, who marries the couple. A lot of times it's a friend, sometimes it's like especially if it's like a religious ceremony, it's your pastor, your priest, maybe someone whose church you've gone to for a long time. And that's very important to the couples that it's important to. I want this person to marry us, you know, and every once in a while, you can tell. I've been to a wedding or two. I went to a lot of weddings in my early 20s when a bunch of my friends were getting married. I was living in Chicago and stuff. And I would go to the wedding thinking like, wow, I'm over here by myself. They've already got life figured out. They picked their life partner already. We're like 22. This is wild, you know? And I remember one time I got off work. I got the one day off work, so I had to miss the rehearsal dinner. And so I took a bus the next day, and being like 20-something, I didn't think it through. And so I just was like, let me go ahead. I'm gonna barely make it to the wedding as is. Let me go ahead and be dressed on the bus. And so I get on the bus, and the bus's air conditioner is broken. And so I sweat for 3 hours to the wedding. But I lucked out because I get to the wedding, and it turns out at the rehearsal dinner, everybody got food poisoning. So I look about as bad as anybody else. We're all sweating. And the pastor officiating the wedding clearly was like the worst off, you know. Everybody clearly had like a little bit of an upset stomach, and like, you know, sweat some of it out and everything. Some people looked a little green and stuff. But the pastor was fighting to get through this ceremony, and they want a ceremony at a church, and so he has to do a whole sermon that's attached to like getting them to the vows, right? And you can tell he's losing it because there's a point where he's sweating, and he's not a lot of preachers sweat, but they sweat after they preached. This man was sweating from the start, and he started clearly getting delirious because he was quoting Bible verses that are not in there. He's over here talking about like the 5th book of Corinthians, and I'm like, nah, dog. I think you seeing double. I think you seeing extra Roman numerals in that Bible. You need to sit down and deliver some of this sermon. And every once in a while you could tell he was like feeling himself like he was breaking it for a second. And he'd be like, because God. And then anytime he tried to get like real preacher with it, you could tell he was like, uh-oh. There's just so many things. Even the ceremony. Figuring out how to get people from the ceremony to the reception is sometimes a battle, especially if they're not in the same place. You know, I've been to a lot of beautiful weddings where they were in the same location. You just gotta walk to like the other part of the building or right outside or wherever, and it all works. If you gotta get people from one location to another, it can be treacherous. People can be lost. I don't drink, so I don't really deal with this particular aspect. I don't know in a wedding when people are supposed to get drunk. I just know they start getting drunk right after I do, and some of it I'm like, when did you drink? How? We just sat down to eat. How? And there's the dancing. The dance, one of my favorite things. Okay, I've been invited to a lot of my white friends' weddings, and what I love, one of my favorite things in the world, is the moment that you can tell they're about to break it down. The absolute moment that they have locked in, and I don't know if it's the liquor, the song, I don't know what it is, but they're like, I don't care who's looking, I don't care who I came here with, I'm about to express myself. Everywhere. And what I love about it is a thing that I noticed once again, in my 20s, going to some of my friends' weddings from back in Louisiana and stuff, there's a face. There's a face that a white dude makes right before he breaks it down. And I would be lying if I said it's not the identical face a white dude has before he says the most racist thing you've ever heard. And they are so exactly the same. It's that full upside down, that full like. This is the face that a white dude makes before he Dougies is the same face that was outside of every school that was getting integrated, all right? This is a face like no other. You know there is so much joy. When a white man makes this face, he's either about to do the worst thing possible or the best thing he's ever done. I am telling you, it is one of the most spectacular things you could ever watch, because it is coming from a place so pure. I don't know how many drinks it takes. Some people, it doesn't take a drink at all. Some people, that's just who that comes out. No? Then you have the reception, you have the speeches. And the speeches can be tricky. Most weddings, best man gives a speech, maid of honor gives a speech, maybe the parents, some family. He gives a speech. And I don't know if you know you're going to give a speech, because this is hard. Like a wedding speech is intimidating because it's like everything wrapped into one. Everything that scares people about public speaking wrapped into one thing. You have to be kind of funny, you have to be heartfelt, you have to be moving, you have to like really make people remember the speech, at least in your head. You gotta do all this in like a matter of a couple minutes, because you don't want it to be too long, and you don't want to bust out crying and not be able to continue, because then people will be like, what's going on? And so it's tough. I still remember, okay, it was a wedding where the best man, got a little drunk, so already the speech is gonna tilt. It's not gonna be its best. And he used the best man speech to pretty much profess his love for the groom, right? And it's like, bruh, you are exactly one ceremony late. When they ask if anyone has any reason that these two should not be wed, it was kind of in case this happens. It was speak now or forever don't. Dude stand up there, so me and Chet are boys. I mean, we boys. We always been boys. Chet's boys. And then Alyssa came. Alyssa came along and ruined it. I've just been thinking about a lot of wedding stuff. I was reading the news and I saw Jeff Bezos got married to, I know. He's not here. But like, this is the thing. He got married in Venice, and it was supposed to be, I believe, at least at the city center, until everyone protested, and then they had to move it because, the people in Venice were like, why would we let you do this in our face? Like, if you do this, it will be in the water. And the people from Venice had a point. They were furious because they were like, first of all, the climate change, because they take climate change more seriously than some people believe. And they were like, they're flying here in the private jets and everything, like the environment, what are we gonna do? And then what is he leaving us with? He's talking about, I'm gonna spend so much money here. It's like, you don't even pay. They made a banner that said, if you can afford to rent Venice, you can afford to pay more taxes, right? And even more so than the sentiment of like the big banner was just that they used a really bad picture of him. And And I don't know, I'm speaking as a sensitive person. If you got a bad enough picture of me, you really don't need to say anything else. Like, you got me good. No, I'm gonna think about it all day. Because apparently he spent $50 million on the wedding. $50 million. How do you even get to 50 for a wedding? 3 days, 50 million. You gotta leave something for the divorce. You spent $50 million knowing you cheat. Oh, that's crazy. No, just say it. Thought you were a businessman. And I think a lot of people aren't even really upset about the wedding so much. There's obviously people that are annoyed by the tourism aspect. There are people who live in Venice. They're like, look, it's ruining our cities. Tourism is nice, it's good to make some money, but the way that people come here and what they turn our city into, it's like we're not a prop. You know, we're not a backdrop. We're real people that live here that get inconvenienced by the things that people do when they try to make our entire city about them. You know? And so they protested, and those protests at least worked to the degree that they weren't able to put on the wedding that they initially wanted to, which has made me really happy. I usually want everything to go well at a wedding when it comes to people that I know, maybe don't even know well, but there's just so much pressure that goes into it. I want that for them, and I've never wanted less of that for anyone than Jeff Bezos. Like, just the way that Jeff moves, I was just waiting. I just want so many things to go wrong. Just little things. They had to get on boats to get to other boats. They had to get on a little boat to get to the yacht. I'm like, just fall through the gap. Like, just... That would be nice if he fell through the gap and he's all... You know, and then pull him out of the water by his head so it's slippery, so it takes a while. You know what I mean? No, that would be fire, you know? Or if, like, the DJ played REM, you know? I just wanted one speech to just, like, ruin it, you know what I mean? Like, one speech to be like, as everybody, hey, it's me and Jeff are boys. Me and Jeff are boys, we've always been boys, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then Lauren came and ruined it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, me and Jeff killed somebody together. Like, that's... They'll never find a body, dog. There's so many things that can go wrong. I hope something did. No. I know it's not nice, but neither is he. You know, it's like at a certain point, you know, you look at Jeff Bezos as this former CEO of Amazon, and you'll get people who are like, he's not even the CEO anymore. Why is everybody so upset? It's like he's still the executive chairman, and the way that Amazon was run while he was a CEO, it's just a continuation of that thing. You know what I mean? It's still working people to the bone and then chucking them out as soon as you have a robot or an AI that can take their place while pretending that that's better for all of us. And then the environmental, pledges that they make, kind of like skirting around them or dropping them entirely. It's just, it's one of those things where if nothing else, if we don't have anything else but a voice to protest him having a good day, then I think as many people as possible should do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's... And I've just never seen that before. I mean, I've known people who got married and knew that their in-laws didn't like them. I've never seen a protest. they say, speak now or forever hold your peace. And there's a whole group outside like, I have something to say. If anyone knows why these two should not be wed, speak now. I do. And I don't know. I mean, I look at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. I don't know them as people, and I don't know what their relationship is like. But I hope it's fraught. Like, I hope that it's. No, I hope. Look, I hope that they argue a lot. And that when they argue, it gives Bezos a headache that is at least equal to like an Amazon worker who's had a box fall on their head. You know what I mean? Like, it's, if there's just any source of balance in the universe, they will be as much of a headache to each other as they are an impact on the world. And I know that probably won't happen, but we can dream. You know what I mean? Like, I do wonder what their vows were like, genuinely. It's like, I promise to always have money. I don't know. Second wedding, too. You know, his first wife, Mackenzie, definitely, at least in the public sphere, like won the divorce because people like her. You know what I mean? Like, she became a billion when her and Jeff split. She was like a billion, and then he was number one, and then he went to like 3, and then I think she was like 2. I don't know. I don't think that you are a bad person if you're a billionaire. Just probably, just more than likely, because the only ethical way to become a billionaire seems to be to divorce one. There was one time, once again, early 20s, and a bunch of my friends were getting married, and I had to go to 3 weddings in about 5 days. Yeah, and so luckily I could afford to take a train and then fly, take a train, everything, and I don't know. I was young, so I wasn't doing the best planning at all. And sure enough, it comes time for me to head out, and I am about to be late. I stuff everything into a suitcase, and I head there. I got one wedding suit because these friends don't know each other, so they're not gonna know. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show up looking sharp to each one. It's like, Josh, you really did? I'm like, yeah, I did. Go to the first wedding, phenomenal. It's very sweet. It's like intimate ceremony and everything. And next day, I get there early. Second wedding, beautiful, phenomenal, much bigger, right? And then I get down to the third wedding, and I realize that in my haste, not preparing, I didn't really pack well. I have my one suit. I've got some shirts that I can wear and everything. I'm trying to figure out a place to do laundry, and there's nowhere nearby. And my suit is clean because I'm not a dancer. So I haven't sweated out. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of nice to meet you. Yes. Take off the jacket immediately, make sure that doesn't get musty, change the dress shirt underneath, and sure enough, third wedding. The clothes I had were the last clothes. That literally the suit was the last clean thing that I had left. So I was like, all right, I'm coming in clutch, right? And go to the wedding, beautiful ceremony. And then we get to the reception, some speeches, very sweet. Only a little bit like, I just love you. And then it's time to dance, and I'm not really a dancer, but there was a guy, he was the uncle of the groom. He's trying to get everybody to dance because he is a true believer that it's bad luck if everybody doesn't dance at the wedding, even just a little jiggle. So he's getting people up. He's like pulling people to the dance floor. He pulls me. Now, I'm not a dancer, all right? I got a little bit of movement along the same plane. So you'll see me here, and then you'll see me here. And there might potentially be a snap in between. It will not be on beat. It'll be more emotive. But I'll be here, and I'll be here, and I'll be here, and I'll be here. And that was not enough for Uncle Willis, all right? Uncle Willis is over here. Come on, young blood, come on. This is what you gotta keep in mind when you cheer somebody on. Whenever you try to hype somebody up, be sure they can do whatever you're trying to get them to do. I can't stand when people try to act like this is the moment in the movie right now where you're gonna hit the beats you've never hit before. Come on, young bloods. I'm moving. And I don't know what to do because I'm not a dancer, and neither is he. You know, neither is he. Even him calling me young blood was like really weird. I don't know this guy at all, but he is like adamant that I can do more. And so he starts dancing with just me. And he's like, come on, get some rhythm into it, right? And I can tell he's too far gone for me to like not acquiesce because it's starting. It's like as he says, get some rhythm into it. And this man starts grabbing my hands to just violently move with his violence. And I'm staying at the one of the two, I'm just doing it faster. I'm like, all right, then that's... He's like, use your arms. And then this man grabs my hand and whips me around. This man spun me. Nah, dog. And he spun me when I was mid-stride. And so as he spun me, I rolled my ankle, right? And so I rolled my ankle, and it doesn't just hurt like I fell from standing up. It hurts a lot more. It's weird. It hurts so much. It hurts like I fell out of the sky. And so as soon as I fall, he sobers up almost immediately. He's like, oh no, young blood. I'm like, don't call me that. Where did you learn that? And then he helps me limp over to my seat at the table where I was eating, and I can feel my ankle swelling immediately. And so I didn't even think about it. I just kicked off my shoe so I could check my foot. And because I was down to the last clothes that I had, because of the timing that the gift was given, I just popped off my shoe, and he saw an L on my left foot. And he didn't say anything, but I saw him see it. And none of the other groomsmen said anything. But for the rest of the reception, they were all very nice to me.
Fargo, North Dakota, make some noise for Josh Johnson!
I've had doctors that really just felt like they were piecing it together as we went. You know what I mean? Like, truly. Like, one time, I don't even know what it was. I had something on my leg that was, like, concerning me, right? And so I went to the doctor, and I'm telling him about it. I'm sitting in his office, going over it, going, like, when it happened, everything, how worried I am, because I've never seen anything like this before, and how I've just been, like, feeling, like, tired all the time, so I'm wondering if it has something to do with this. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to take a look at it? He's like, yeah, we'll get to it. And then he stands up, grabs, like, all the stuff, stethoscope, stuff that he, I guess he gonna listen to it. I don't know what the plan is. But then he's like, go ahead and stand up, and you can drop your you can drop your pants. And like, I'm like, why are you seem nervous? Like, it was just, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're buds. Like, I have to do this now. And we've talked about it thoroughly. Like, you know where the thing is, like upper thigh, right? And so then I like open my belt buckle, I unzip, I start dropping my pants, and maybe I did too fast for him because he was like, oh, pause. I was like, pause? Not a doctor. Say pause. Oh. Because it's tough and it's scary because we only know a medieval amount about how to keep ourselves alive. We think we're smarter because we have more access to information, but even with that access, some people don't want the information. There are people that are straight up, like I used to think from the bottom of my heart, oh, if people just knew, if you knew better, you'd do better. I used to like live by that mantra. And now I'm realizing, no, some people don't want to know. Some people would like to do exactly what they do now. Because to me, I go to a doctor because I'm like, you're a professional. The hope is that you know what's going to be going on. So I don't need to learn about what's going on while it's happening to me, because that's how you die slowly. You know what I mean? I don't want to be sitting on my deathbed like, I figured it out. And so you go to a doctor, because doctor's supposed to know. But now there are people who will admit that they don't know, but they'll also be like, nah, he doesn't know either. And it's like, look, I'm not saying doctors know everything, but we, as the general public, we have like a certain amount of knowledge that helps keep us alive. And the rest is other people that we've never met being like, don't eat the lettuce this week. There's E. coli everywhere. And without them, I wouldn't know that. I'd be hitting the lettuce hard. I'd be like, look at how healthy I am. I'm mid-salad right now. Oh, you do your best. Everyone is doing their best. Don't think that I think people aren't doing their absolute best. Even when they don't do what I agree with, even when they don't do things that I think are like common sense, people are doing their best, you know? It's just sometimes someone's best shouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? You can have all the good intentions in the world, but if your best is like subpar, it should probably get you out of there. Let you be a cheerleader. Because I've been through all manner of like medical things. Luckily, nothing so serious that it was like fundamentally life-threatening for long. I'm very thankful that I don't deal with like chronic pain or conditions that I know people in my life do that make them have to adjust plans, cancel plans, make them have to adjust their life, make them have to be thinking about this thing all the time. I luckily don't have to think about my body all the time, you know? But I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that depend on those experts for things that if we were going off of my knowledge, most of this room would be dead. No, I don't claim to be an expert, but I feel like there's this weird place we've gotten to where it used to be knowing something was like a big deal. Oh, ask them, they know, right? And now questioning something is as big of a deal as knowing something. And I'm not saying questions are bad. I just think that at a certain point, we need to distinguish the people who only ever ask questions from the people who actually know things. Do you know what I mean? You should ask questions. I don't want anyone to blindly follow anyone. I'm just saying that when people say do your own research, some of them haven't researched. Research is boring. If you weren't bored during your research, if you just strung a marathon of documentaries on YouTube together, I bet you that wasn't research though. I'm not even saying everything you learned was wrong. I'm just saying like research usually takes time, takes years of your life, takes dedicated study and attention. Real research, knowing something, you have to give something to know something. It takes nothing to just pick things apart until you confuse everyone. Do you know what I mean? And so I said all that because I've made mistakes in my life. I didn't know the difference between the emergency room and urgent care. I wish that they give one of them a less immediate name. I didn't know they weren't interchangeable, all right? It's the emergency room and then it's urgent care. Well, I urgently need help for my emergency, so what should I do? Where does that leave us now? I'm at a fork in the road and whichever I pick sounds like they'll help me quickly. Turns out emergency rooms are for like life-threatening, immediate care. Urgent care is for when you got like a headache. Urgent care, look, and this is not to disparage anyone that works in any place. It's just that urgent care stories, I know people who work in urgent care, and I know people who work in emergency rooms, and the emergency room stories, I should have known to go to the emergency room if it was more serious, because the emergency stories are so much more horrific in nature. than the urgent care stories. Like, the urgent care stories are like, yeah, this dude came in and he was filling out his paperwork, but his nose is bleeding the whole time. Kind of got all over the paper. And then he handed it back to me and I was like, ugh. Emergency room stories are like, there was a dude today that, and also anyone who's ever worked in an emergency room and then told me an emergency room story has a 1,000-yard stare. They're not talking to me. They might be talking to God. They might be asking God, why would you let me see something like that? I got into this business to help people. I really want to help and heal, and you show me the devil. I don't want to see that ever again. Because what they will tell me with that wide stare is like, yeah, this guy came in today and his leg was... And it's like, I don't know what that is. That blinking? Sometimes they will just blink in silence. I'm like, is it in the room right now? This guy came in today and his leg was in his chest. You sure this wasn't a dream? No. Like, I went to urgent care one time and genuinely was sicker than when I walked in. When I left, I walked to the urgent care and I had an appointment, and which is odd because I thought you were supposed to be able to just run up in there, but get to urgent care. I had my appointment, and the person at the front, look, God bless them, truly. I know they were just doing their best, but they could not stop sneezing and coughing openly. And so I was like, oh, like I'm backing away from this. I'm like, yeah, so do you want me to just go right over there? Do you want me to just walk around you and go back there? He's like, oh, the doctor's not ready yet. I was like, you can go first, dog. Like, if you, I mean, you already here and you here all day and like, I don't know, you're probably killing everybody. So if you want to go, that's supposed to be the benefit of working here, right? That you are already here in case you need to be here. And he was like, oh, don't worry. Don't worry, it's not COVID. And I was like, that wasn't my concern at all. I wasn't wondering if it was COVID. I was wondering why it was happening right now to you. Like, I want you to be well. That would be better for everybody in here because we all came sick. And if we all mix our sick together right now, I'm pretty sure we'll get a new thing. And I don't want that to happen. No, and then my man sent me back so the doctor could cough in my mouth. Everybody had it, whatever it was, everybody had it. But now, when you go to the emergency room, let's say that's closer than urgent care, and you're like, hey, you know what, I'll just go right now. And then you get in there, and even if you have a terrible migraine, when you look around an emergency room, it does make you self-conscious about your sickness. The same way where you like go to the gym for the first time in 8 years and you looking around at all the people who are like already swole. When you get to an emergency room and you're not that sick and then you just see people holding bullet wounds closed, you're like, you can go before me if you want. Like, and so it's all important stuff. It's hard for us to stay healthy because it's already hard for us to live. You have to do everything that it takes to like have a life, keep people alive if you've made people. can be healthy. And I don't know, maybe it's just the way that we work as a country, but we're so back and forth and 100% all the time. All gas, no brakes, all the time, always behind, fighting, trying to get back in black, fighting that red line, fighting that poverty line, to the point where there are people who genuinely believe they don't have time. Oh, you could do this. This is the healthier thing to do. Oh, make some time for this. I don't have time, right? By the time I get home, I'm exhausted. I just want to sleep. Can I at least have sleep? And so it's tough, you know, even when it comes to eating, even when it comes to like what we know to eat to be healthy. It changes. And sometimes it changes because we find out something. And then sometimes it changes because a company is like, actually, there's a lot of money in kale. You remember kale? You remember that thing that we used to put at the bottom of every salad bar? You know, it used to be the floor of the salad bar. You would go to a Pizza Hut and there would be kale wrapped around the pizza. Not on the pizza, under the pizza. We used to use kale as like foliage. And then one day somebody was like, hey, we growing all this kale. You ever taste some? You ever bite down into that kale? It's probably good for you. And then takes off, becomes a whole craze. I'm always blown away with food crazes of food that we've been eating. We've all been alive for a while now, but every year there will be some superfood that's a food we were already aware of. Remember when avocados had their day? Remember when avocado was like, have you no, your skin. And there's vitamins that it's so good for you. Your skin. Do you want more skin? Your skin. It's so good for you. See, you have extra skin under your skin. You'll be so healthy. You remember coconut oil? There was a year where coconut oil could do no wrong. They were like, no, put it on your skin. Lather yourself up at night. You'll just be so moisturized. Put it in your hair. It'll get all the dirty stuff out of your hair. It'll clear out your pores in the hair and everything. Get the hair follicle all nice and juicy and stuff. Eat it. Cook with it. It's so good. It'll be good it'll fix your skin from the inside. It'll be delicious and it'll fill it. Ooh, it'll be like all of your organs have new skin. And then somebody else came out with a study that was like, oh, actually don't do any of that. Like it's actually gonna fully clog your pores. It's gonna clog the pores of your hair. And if you eat it, it's gonna like, I don't know, be like a little too loose in your heart while your heart's trying to pump blood. I don't know what they said, but it just, they turned on it in a day. And you would think that all this stuff is happening because we're finding out all these things. But what's really happening is all of these narratives are competing at the same time. There are people who have a vested interest in you eating as much meat as possible. And then there are people who have a vested interest in you eating no meat at all. And I don't even mean on a political front. I'm not even talking about environmentalists versus like vegans versus people who have money in Big Cow. I'm talking about genuinely there are people who believe, for whatever reasons they've come to, that they've concluded that they believe this thing is good for you, this thing is bad for you, and then they put it out into the world. And because we have the internet, you could look up anything, and anything is as good for you as it is bad for you. And that is scary when you know a medieval amount to keep yourself alive. I'm not claiming to be smarter than anybody, and I try to listen to experts, and I try to do my quote-unquote own research. It's a lot of reading. It's pretty boring. That's why I feel like I'm doing the right thing. You know, but it's still tough to know. I'm not coming down on people for not knowing. I think it's mostly that if someone went to all the trouble to know, maybe that should mean something. You know? I say this because RFK Jr. is the head of health and human services. And if you're not familiar with RFK Jr., he has a very specific sound, very specific way of speaking and thinking, and he's on a real like health kick as a whole personality, all right? And it's unfortunate that so much of that is what feels like riddled with internet. I've never seen someone so interested in health and the science of health without just getting into the science of health. Do you know what I mean? It would be like me knowing every stat that there is to know about basketball. But then when someone rolled me a ball or even tossed me a ball, maybe I'm playing my first pickup game of basketball. With all of this knowledge I supposedly have of the game, I know plays, I know players, I know stats, I know strategies, and then someone actually passes me the ball and I go, there are things that RFK Jr. has said and done they don't just worry me. You know what I mean? They don't just like worry me. They actively go against, like, it's one thing if you have one theory. I let everybody be subversive about like one thing to me, because I'm like, all right, you might be right about this thing, who knows, let's investigate, right? When you have 90, nah, dog, this is bad. I don't even like repeating some of the things that he said, because it makes it, if I repeat it, I sound like I think it, because it takes me so long to explain what he thought that I sound like I think it too, and I would rather not. You know, during his confirmation hearing, he said a lot of things that didn't quite fall in line with what he had been saying before he was trying to get confirmed, you know? So he said a lot of the right things to go ahead and get confirmed. And look, he was probably gonna get confirmed no matter what. You know, there was a majority that was gonna push him through, most likely, no matter what he said. And then he gets in, and this is the most troubling thing to me about like RFK Jr. is that there are moments where he'll say something that is like, not only like not crazy, it's like the thing that everyone was hoping somebody would say. And then he'll quickly follow it up with a thing that no one has ever said. And you're like, oh, you had us for like a half second. You know, like, because RFK Jr. has talked about like trying to remove all the dyes out of the foods, like out of the candies and out of the like crackers, all the stuff like that, out of the chips. It's like, that's actually a good thing. That would be good. Everyone else already removed it. Like, these companies may be international, but when you go to Europe, it's a different chip. And that's specifically because Europe was like, we don't do that to our people. So you should, if you want to be here, you can change it, but you have to change it. It can't just be whatever you want it to be, right? And so when RFK Jr. says, like, I'm trying to get all these additives out of the food, all these dyes, all these things, it's like, oh, wow, that's great. I like that. And then he's like, and we need a registry for autism. And you're like, oh! What are you doing? It's so deeply frustrating. You know? Because it's like that, the whole thing, the whole thing that is that is frustrating about it is that it is someone who, even in the face of experts, would rather not challenge those experts and prove them wrong to their face, just more talk to people who honestly and earnestly are trying to find out and don't know and lead them. You don't see him engaging in like real debate with a doctor who's made the thing their life, who's done the true research, and who's done it over time. I'm not saying science and doctors can never be wrong. I'm saying those are the people you should be having these spats with, instead of going on podcasts and convincing people who also didn't do the thing. They didn't make that their life's work, and then leading them down a path where we're not really sure how bad it could get. And this is in the midst of Doge and other things cutting jobs for like the National Health Institutes, you know, cutting jobs at the FDA, cutting jobs in all these places where we need these things. In fact, there have been rollbacks on things that help us prevent things in the future, on research for the future of what might be going on somewhere else, is what scientists are thinking about all the time, when this thing might happen, right? And if you roll back on that, you won't see the effect right away. You may not even see it for a long time. But then when we are behind, because we used to be the leader, and we're quickly losing our first place position in being who the world looks to figure out new illnesses, to figure out, even with old ones, we can still figure out vaccines. We can still figure out all of these different aspects of how to keep people healthy and alive. And when you roll them back in ways that seem like they don't matter, or at least you don't want to give attention to, the effects we won't know the widespread effect of it. You know, and I'm worried because RFK Jr. got in under this whole like make America healthy again attitude. Is sort of a mantra, right? And I understand that he's like a 70-year-old guy that bench presses. But I would like to, if I can, be healthier than RFK Jr. because he doesn't seem healthy. I haven't seen his blood work. I'm not saying I don't know, but he doesn't seem healthy because he does a lot of stuff that doesn't seem to lead to health. Long before he was ever confirmed for the head of Health and Human Services, there was a picture of RFK Jr., one of many, but there was a particular picture of RFK Jr. walking out of an airplane bathroom, barefoot. And when I saw it, I rebuked the picture. I was like, that will not be in my life. No, thank you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a scientist. But please wear some form of footwear into the airplane bathroom. You had shoes when you got on the plane. What happened? What happened between the seat and the bathroom that you were like, I gotta get these off? Too restrained. This man went swimming in a DC creek that's been known for like, I'm pretty sure decades, that place is nasty. It's so okay. It's so nasty that the place is nasty. It's so nasty that they have a sign saying, we nasty. Don't swim here, it's nasty. And sure, it's like this flowing creek and everything, but it's been known for a long time that sewage leaks into that creek. And he hopped in with the same feet that he walked out of that airplane bathroom with, hopped in feet first, probably didn't even dip his toe in, was like, yeah! Swimming in the creek with his grandchildren, I'm pretty sure. And his dog. You're the head of health and human services. Do us the service of being a healthy human. Like this is so crazy that we're watching you. It would be like watching the Secretary of Defense play Russian roulette. It's like, so you're not gonna be here long then. Why would you do that? Don't do that. We want you to be alive. It's so frustrating. Man has a congressional hearing where they're asking him about his belief. They're asking him about things that he said since he's been confirmed and stuff. And this man basically says, don't take medical advice from me. There's a part of me that almost respects that. There's a part of me that almost respects that. Let me tell you why. Because I have been, an hourly worker several times in my life. I've had lots of odd jobs that pay by the hour. I've had lots of I won't call them corporate, but just established corporation jobs that pay, by the hour. And the problem with hourly work, whether you're talking about me or anyone I've ever interacted with, especially from a customer service perspective, the problem with hourly work is I'm not sure if we're meeting at the hour you care about this job. I may have caught you at a bad time at work. There's 4 types of hourly workers. There are the hourly workers who are they start off great, especially when we're talking customer service. You start off great. I was here. You start off great. You clock in, you got a good attitude, you're ready to go. Nothing's happened yet. And then, a few hours into dealing with the public, you have been beat down to a place of which you're not sure you can recover. And you're thinking about how this is Monday. So, my life, Then there's an hourly worker that really starts to perk up the last 2 hours of shift. They're almost home. They're almost out of here. They're smiling at you because they almost don't have to see you. We're almost through with each other. I'm so close. Let's bring it home strong. Then there's the hourly worker that genuinely loves their job. Then there's the hourly worker who hates their job so much that from clock in to clock out, they are here to make sure that you hate their job too. Right? And at different points in my life, I've been a couple of these different workers, Sometimes I had a job where I could clock in and then I was good attitude, good everything. And then people just, whether they're impatient or they're rude or they're nasty, they just beat you down and you try to not let the last interaction affect the next interaction. But after a while, you just get to the point where you just got that face, that almost like a 1,000-yard stare. And you're trying to do your job, but you just want to be and his leg was in his chest. And I've also been that person that's had that job that I'm I can't wait to quit this job. I can't wait to get out of here. And you know what? The closest thing to quitting this job is clocking out of this job. I love clocking out so much. Sometimes I do it twice. I love clocking out. It's my favorite thing. Sometimes I actually worked a couple different jobs where back in the day you actually had the timesheet that did the and then shot the paper back up, and that was extra fun. I would watch it. I'd watch it in slow motion in my mind. I'd be like, yep, zip, zip, and zip, zip, and look at you marked and ready to go. I'm out of here. I'm leaving forever, just tonight, but forever. And then admittedly, I did have jobs that I really loved. I really enjoyed clocking in and having a great time with my coworkers, and I enjoyed the job that I was doing. And even if it was like something to do with the public, you have your jerks once in a while, but for the most part, it was phenomenal. And I got great experiences out of it, and I'd clock out, I'd go home, I'd start again the next day. And then I had jobs where I was like, oh, okay. I don't want anybody to hate their life, but they're gonna know I hate mine. And there's something in the spirit of an hourly worker that's in the middle of doing their job that's like, oh, don't do what I do. That is what I heard at that hearing. No, guys, don't follow my advice. I don't know. I be saying stuff. No. No, it's tough because it's hard to know that everyone has different levels of access and different levels of knowledge on how to keep ourselves healthy. And when you have things getting rolled back, like EPA regulations, FDA regulations, when you have people looking out less and less for the quality of drinking water, when you have people looking out less and less for what the next potential virus might be, you get yourself into some real trouble. And then they kick it back to us. They kick it back to us every time. They roll that thing back. They fire those people who, I'm not going to say every single person loved their job, but they roll things back to the point where now more people have more burden on them and less support to try to get us to where we need to be, at least on a basic level of health. And they're like, but it's up to you. You know, Dr. Oz came on and he was like, the best way to be healthy is to be healthy. And I was like, oh, do you have financial advice too? Because that's incredibly solid right there. The best way to not need these services is to not need these services. And it's like, okay, but you gotta remember, you're dealing with people who have varying levels of knowledge around what is and isn't healthy. My hometown has a bit of a meth problem. And a real conversation that I overheard at a bus stop was, no, they getting on to me because I'm smoking meth. But it's not like it's crystal meth. And not only me as a bystander, but the person they were talking to seemed to also be on meth. Said, what do you mean it's not crystal meth? And he goes, it's regular meth. And so then the other person on meth was like, no, it's all meth. Crystal's not the deluxe. It's not like Crystal Pepsi, you know what I mean? It's all generally meth. There's not a diet meth. Meth is the diet meth. I haven't eaten in some time. Because we are a huge country. And it's when you travel, you realize how big this country really is. And it's a lot of people to try to keep healthy, try to make healthy, you know? And so you want people of the absolute highest caliber, knowledge and character to be in positions that affect your health. And I just don't think RFK Jr. is that, you know? And there's all these things There's plenty of things that you can watch and plenty of breakdowns people have done on his ideas and his theories about health and everything, and the things that he says that fall into the lane of conspiracy, and the things that he says that fall into the lane of like homeopathic cures and stuff. And I'm just saying there's a certain way that you talk about people that lets me know what you think about people, how you feel about people, right? And while maybe from his perspective seeming compassionate or seeming understanding, the way I've heard him talk about people, especially people with autism, but people with any sort of different ability or way of life, and talk about it in terms that just seem so like stark and dismissive of the individual themselves in these broad brushstrokes, and then try to later come back and be like, oh, I was only talking about a quarter of, as if that's better. It makes me feel like this is not the individual that should be in that position. And that's not just because he swims in sewage. It's because like actual sewage is spilling out of his mouth every time he talks. But yeah, maybe he can get the food additives out. I don't know. Like this. That's just, I don't know. That's what's so frustrating to me about RFK Jr. It's like half of what people applaud him for even saying we should do or that he's trying to do is just a bunch of stuff Michelle Obama was trying to do. Like, remember when Michelle Obama was like, how about a carrot? You remember that? Remember when Michelle Obama was like, just try an apple. And people were like, why do you hate America? No, it's super frustrating. I get frustrated all the time. I can't imagine if you are, a parent of a child with autism and you're listening to RFK Jr. talk, or if you're someone who's an actual health specialist and you're listening to RFK Jr. talk, or if you are the person who, in my opinion, deserves to be the angriest, Michelle Obama, listening to RFK Jr. talk. She probably's pointing at the TV doing the DiCaprio meme. Like, that's what I just want you to try an apple. That's my thing. That's really where we screwed up, We do all this stuff when it comes to healthcare to make it inaccessible, right? So there's all these things that you have these premiums, you have these deductibles, you have all these different things that we understand are to keep us away from the healthcare. But then when it comes to the vaccines, when it comes to the treatments, I think we're too eager to give it to people. We should actually hold it back and make it seem like, I don't know. I don't know, it's all the way over here. Do you really want to come over here and get it? Like, I don't know. Because I had a conversation with a friend that enlightened me a little bit in kind of that route of thinking. He was a new parent, and he was like, look, I'm not a doctor. I recognize that I don't know the science or anything, but I'm seeing all this stuff on social and on TV about giving my kids vaccines, but I'm also talking to my doctor who's telling me to give my kids vaccines, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm really scared about what I should do, right? And I was like, okay, I hear what you're saying. And then he said, I just feel horrible if I gave my kids something and it made them sick or sicker. And I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying. And then I asked him, I was like, let's just go back in time for a second and just pretend that the vaccine that the doctor's trying to give you just doesn't even exist. And your kid was sick. Would you want it then? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that as some sort of got you. I'm saying that when we're sick, we go to the hospital. When you're sick or someone you love is sick, you want a doctor immediately. All this like just asking questions, going back and forth, trying to dunk on doctors, trying to dunk on experts, it's always done from a place of like actually being okay right now. When you're actually in a hospital bed, you're like, do whatever. I'm coughing up blood. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to say that I don't have empathy for people who have questions or people who are unsure, people who are scared. That's where I think a lot of like humanity gets lost in the conversation. When some people are just like, I don't know what to do. I'm genuinely afraid of what I should do next because there's all this stuff out here. Just like with the food, just like with the treatments. For everything, there's a thing for it and against it. And it depends on when it comes up in your feed. It depends on how you search. It depends on how you type it into ChatGPT. And so it's hard to know, to really know, right? And so I try to not just have patience, but have empathy for people who are genuinely unsure. But you saw it. You saw it in COVID. People were yelling to the rooftops, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not doing this. Look, live your life. But then, at the third cough, they did go to the people who told them to do all that stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I don't know, if you trust them now, you trust them when it's bad, why not trust them a little early? You know what I mean? And I just want to make it clear, like, my big gripe with RFK Jr. is that he doesn't have these debates and he doesn't have these knockdown, drag-out fights and arguments about the science and about where he's coming from and how he has his logic and how he came to these conclusions with experts who are well-versed in the science and in the medicine. It's always done in like a podcasty type of way. And now that people's real lives are at stake, I just think that's unacceptable. Like, I don't know how we're so willing to give this much. Like, I know we're not, but just, I don't know, when you look back and you compare it as a country, Michelle Obama was like, just eat the apple. Like, it'll help.
Dallas, Texas, please make some noise for Josh Johnson.
It is crazy to me that everybody, no matter who you are a different person to everybody that you know. Like, we have the idea in our heads, we understand that we're different to our parents than we are to our friends, than we are to our coworkers. But I mean, like, every single person. Just because of when we meet each other, how we meet each other, what we mean to each other and everything. I have a friend from growing up. His name is Squish. And Squish guy's name, because he's pretty accident prone. In fact, the way I met Squish was he was walking and this kid was in the cafeteria and he stepped on a pickle. And this kid flew. He stepped on the pickle like he stepped on a Hot Wheel. I didn't know pickles had that type of movement. The pickle didn't even disintegrate. He just stayed on it perfectly, like a roller skate, and couldn't stop himself like a Looney Tune. One leg in the air, one leg on the pickle, and couldn't seem to get off. And he was screaming the whole time. Ah! This man was Janelle Monáeing across the floor in a panic. Ah! And this kid slid into some trash cans hard. And so I run up, some other kids run up, and from then on he was known as Squish. And Squish is, some of his accidents aren't even his fault. Like we had a classroom fish. Was floating in the tank, swimming around and everything. And, you know, it was a different person's turn to feed the fish every day. And whoever fed the fish last didn't close the slide in the top of the tank back. And so the fish popped out of the tank, landed on the floor, and was bouncing around a little bit. And Squish just happened to be walking by. And we all screamed. We were like, no! And he was like, what? Squish's #1 accident that solidified his nickname and his understanding to us as a clumsy person actually happened on a field trip to Dallas. Yeah, so we were all hanging out, getting some food because the field trip was like all planned out. We had a thick itinerary, and so we got to have lunch at this Italian place, and Squish got some spaghetti to go as well. And of course, throughout the course of us walking around, he trips and falls on his spaghetti. But he doesn't just trip and fall on the spaghetti. He manages, normally when you fall on to-go plate, it stays where it is. This kid fell and somehow managed to get all of the spaghetti from his stomach to the top of his head covered in marinara sauce. It was like there was more marinara sauce on him than there was in the to-go plate. And unfortunately, it was a field trip to the book depository. So if you were passing by, all you saw was a kid covered in marinara and spaghetti on his head going, help! I remember when Squish got married. I remember when he had a kid, and I remember when his wife told him, and is wild because when she told, I wish he had been doing a bit or something, just making a cute little joke for the two of them. But she said, we're pregnant. And without missing a beat, he went. Because now Squish has a kid, and this kid calls him Dad. That's wild to me. It's wild that the people that I grew up with are upgrowing people. That feels crazy. That genuinely feels unacceptable. That the people that I grew up with are making new people that don't know what they're like. Because I know these people. This kid calls Squish Dad. I'm like, oh, you don't, that's not Dad, that's Squish. No, you weren't around, but. No. And I think I'm thinking about it so much because I am older now than my parents were when they had me. And it sort of recontextualized every memory Because every year that I get older and I'm just going about my life, I think about how they were the age that I am now, but with me. I'll have a bad day and think, oh, this is the worst, and not thinking about how they used to hang out with me, but not when I was like fun. They had to hang out with a version of me that couldn't read. So you're already having a bad day, and now somebody that can't read is making it worse. You picking them up from school, they sitting in the back all, and now you have to try to figure out what's wrong with somebody who can't read. Because they won't tell you, one, because they're a kid and they're being all secretive and everything, but also because they can't read, so they don't even know the words to describe what they're feeling. You gotta do charades to see what's wrong. That's tough. You know, like I think back how my mom, a lot of the moms of the kids that I went to school with, like when you're a parent, I can't imagine being a parent. I cannot imagine being a parent right now, being a kid right now. I feel like I barely did all right with what I had, you know what I mean? When I was growing up, because I have a lot of empathy for the people who are trying to like raise a good person, doing your best to just make a good person. And the way I look at it, the way I look at life lessons is a lot like lunch. Because, you know, as the parent, the person who has knowledge, the person who's trying to do what's best for your kid, you can make them the best lunch possible. And when I say the best lunch possible, I mean like actually everything that they need. There's vegetables, there's fruits, there's some protein in there. You go ahead, you got the fiber. Everybody forgets the fiber. You gotta get your fiber. You don't want to be full of protein and no fiber. You just be sitting there stuck. You did everything. You got vitamins and minerals in there. You got things to keep them hydrated, give them energy, make sure the bones grow, make sure the brain's healthy. You did everything. And then you send them to school with that lunch. But then it's up to them. Once they're not around you, you don't know. You have no idea. You know, maybe they're going ahead and they're taking out like the one sweet thing in that lunch, and then they just dump out the rest. I went to school with a girl just like that. She loved lunch. Lunch was her favorite because she was a wheeler dealer. She was a broker at lunch. I've never seen anybody finesse like this before. She would start lunch with one snack pack. She would end it with 16 cookies. And we would all have been had and we didn't understand how. We all just sit here, no treats, because she had mixed us up so much. She was the only person I've ever seen in my entire life during lunch going ahead and selling cookie futures. She was over here like, you know I'm good for a snack pack every day, all right? So you give me the cookie now, I'll give you a snack pack tomorrow. Now, that snack pack, you're gonna keep it for a little bit, but you know he's gonna have M&Ms on Thursday. And she did this every day. Every day she finessed the entire class out of everything. And her parents made her a good lunch, but just, we're not really trying to hit that celery right now. Not when we got delicious brownies homemade. And after a while, it took some time, but after a while she showed up to school and she had this rash and she was always tired and stuff. And we found out later that her parents had to take her to, you know, the doctor, and she had scurvy. In the modern age, it is damn near impossible to get scurvy because every day, even by accident, you slipping into vitamin C. You know how many treats you gotta be eating with nothing good to hit the scurvy? This little girl had scurvy, like a Caribbean pirate. Because her parents were doing their best for lunch. They prepared her as best as possible. They gave her everything good. But then when you're around your friends, when you're alone, a parent can't know what's going to happen after that. You know? Like, there's a show on Netflix called Adolescence. And I watched it. And I think it is a very well-made show. Out of all the critiques I've heard about the show, and there are plenty, I have not heard anyone say that the acting isn't phenomenal or that the camera work isn't incredibly interesting, you know. But it's a tough watch, and it's heavy, and it brings up a lot of things I think are important to talk about because it's sparked all these conversations online. It's the most watched English-speaking show in Netflix's history, and you know, there are people being like, oh, finally we're discussing the way that misogyny has creeped in online into every facet of society. And then there are other people being like, no, it's a moral panic. Like, these things are bad, but we're blowing it out of proportion. And so that discussion I do feel like is important. And only one person, there was this one woman I was talking to that was like, it's my favorite show of all time. And I was like, ugh. Favorite all time ever? Did you watch the whole thing and that's your favorite thing you've ever watched? I'm not judging, I'm just saying that's a lot like being like, my favorite place to go is the dentist. It's like, all right, I mean, it's good that you went, but just you telling me that makes you feel good? You love that? You love somebody just playing in your mouth like that? Quizzing you while flossing you? That's your favorite thing? It's just as odd to me. Teach their own. But I do think it's really important that we have these conversations, and it started making me think about my own life, you know? When I was little, I didn't even know what it would mean to have a girlfriend, really. And I only think I thought about girlfriends because adults would like pitch me on the cheek and be like, oh, you so cute, you must have a little girlfriend. You got a little girlfriend? Be like, nah. You're not around the rest of the time. I'm actually quite a lot. But there was someone who I used to eat lunch with for a little while there. And sometimes we'd eat lunch for the whole period of lunch, and sometimes she would just come over, you know, to make sure we chatted before lunch was over. And we would always split my cookie, right? I'd break my cookie in half and we would chat. And I knew that I got to do every day at school my two favorite things, which was talk to her and eat cookies. No? And so she'd come over, we'd break bread, cookie bread, we'd break bread and everything. We'd talk about all sorts of stuff. And I didn't know what it would be like to have a girlfriend, but I knew if I was gonna have a girlfriend, it would be her, right? This is who I like talking to. It's who I like spending time with. It's the only person I'll share my cookie with. And one day, I was walking to the monkey bars, you know, get some swings in. It was good to get the shoulders working. And when I got up to those monkey bars, I wasn't right up on them. I was still at a distance, but I saw her kissing a boy. And I was distraught. I saw them kiss it. I was like, no! I didn't even think of kissing! Is that what boyfriends and girlfriends do? Hey, you know, we little, so they not even really kissing. They more just butting heads and everything. But even so, I was torn up. I was like, no! We share cookies every day. She get my cookie crumbs all on his lips. And I didn't go up to the monkey bars. I went to the little castle that we had on the playground, and man, I cried. I was torn up, and I didn't know what to do in that moment. I didn't know how to fix the way I was feeling, and it felt like I had done something wrong, even though it was just life happening. This person was still someone who I liked very much, but I was like, no, what to kiss? Did the cookie mean nothing? I was so torn up. When we went back to class, I couldn't even learn. Teacher sitting there with a word problem. Simple word problem, trying to get me to hit that 3 + 4, and I was like, 3 kisses plus 4 kisses is one broken man. And I think it's the discussions that are arising because of the show, I think are important because whether it feels like it or not, we are all each other's responsibility. And I think that there's something happening, and it's happening to young men, it's happening to boys, where these things online, whether it's, whatever, red pill, manosphere, whatever you want to blame, there's a certain rhetoric that at least fills in some blanks and tells you this is the way that the world is, this is how you fit into the world. And it's an assuredness that the people around you don't seem to have. Because when that happened, when that kiss happened, when you're a kid, you see things in black and white. You haven't lived long enough to find nuance in between every experience. And so I didn't see that as like, oh, this is my friend, but she happens to like this person or also like this person or like this person more. I internalized all of it. I was like, no, she likes him because I'm ugly. That's gotta be what it is, right? Or she hates me and she likes him. Everything has to be very distinct. And that's tough. I think it's something that we would hopefully be better at recognizing, because it's the same thing that happens to young women. Like when I was a kid, especially when I got to be a teenager and stuff, I was angry. I had all the regular problems. It wasn't like anything extra was happening. But one time an adult sat me down that I was talking to for a long time, and they said something that stuck with me ever since, because I was just telling them how I felt about everything, about how I felt about myself and the world and the people around me, and it all stemmed into this one question. They were like, who taught you to hate yourself? And I couldn't answer it. Because the truth is that I don't know if it's that explicit, and I don't think that it needs to be. When you're young and you're just trying to make your way through the world, I think it's a balance that gets created with the people around you and with yourself, and it's easy to tip, I don't know if anyone was running up to young women specifically making sure that they felt like they were ugly. They just told them that everything that wasn't them around them was beautiful. And so then you have something very similar happening to young boys right now that's coming from all these different directions. And I don't think it should ever be a contest. I know one thing impacts another thing, and there are people that when someone is hurt, they become hurt too as a result. But I think that it's not really about who has it worse when we all have it bad. Sometimes when somebody's going through something and they're open about it, if it's not the person that we decided to band around, right? If it's like a unique person going through something and they're sharing it, sometimes The response, instead of being empathy, is almost backlash, right? They're going through something and they're being open about it. And people are responding with like, oh, boo-hoo, you'll be fine. It's all good, right? But this person is coming to you earnestly and they're going through something, you know? Like we don't really, if I'm being honest, we don't really talk about the like body dysmorphia that a lot of men have. There are men packed into gyms trying to look like the action figure. Meanwhile, the action figure doesn't look like a person. Like that's not, like your knees aren't supposed to be as big as your head. You're just never gonna get there. That's not how people are built. No one does that. And even more than like body dysmorphia in men, the thing that I don't think I hear anybody talking about is strength dysmorphia. I know a lot of men, good men, who have looked at a box or a pool table or a TV and thought to themselves, I could pick it up. We are losing more backs in this country to men's strength dysmorphia than anything else. Strength dysmorphia is the #1 cause of hernias in men. Because then you'll try to help. You'll try to be that person, to be there for them. Be like, hey, wait until we can get some help. Don't do it by yourself. And they'll be like, you don't think I can pick it up? And you're like, it's not about me. Your knees don't think you can pick it up. Your legs don't think you can pick it up. Your back doesn't think you can pick it up. Your glutes don't think you can pick it up. One time I was on a road trip with some friends and we heard it when the tire popped. We heard it immediately. So we pull over, right? And our friend who was driving, it's his car. He had everything ready to go. Had the spare tire, everything had changed the tire except he forgot the jack. So then our friend Jack says to us with a straight face, all right, everybody just, y'all get in position and everything, get ready to change this stuff, and I'll just pick it up and y'all change it, I'll put it back down. I had questions. I was like, pick up what, change what? He was like, no, look, y'all pick it up and, you know, start changing, I'll put it back down. It may take us a couple tries, but we'll get there. There are two types of people who can pick up a car. One are strong men. And by strong men, I don't just mean men that are strong. I mean actual competitors, like strong men. All they do is train and work out and lift heavy things. They almost look like the action figure, but they're not quite there because your knees are only gonna get so big, right? But they got very big shoulders, big head, everything, big arms, and they pick up boulders and they put them on top of stuff. And then sometimes they pull trucks. They have the chain and they pull, and you can see that tire moving a little bit. You're like, he is moving it. Wow. You can watch it on ESPN2. That type of man. That man right there, he'll never turn around fast, but he can pick up a car. You touch him on the shoulder, it's gonna be a while before he gets to you. But he could pick up a car, okay? He will never kill a fly. He's not gonna be that quick with it. But if you need a donkey murdered by punching it in the face, he can get that. It's dead. That's one of the type of people that can pick up a car. The second type of person that can pick up a car is a mother whose baby is under the car. And even then, even in that scenario, she can pick up the car because the part of her brain, out of concern for her child, that would normally say, girl, think about your joints, has shut off. It's not like she picks up the car, gets the baby out of the way, and is fine afterward. Her ligaments are shot. But she can do it. So unless, bro, You've been doing some exercises that we haven't seen? Or there's a child under the tire that you care about very much. I don't think this is gonna work. And he's like, you don't think I can do it? I was like, it's not about me. Your legs don't think you can do it. Your back doesn't think you can do it. Your glutes don't think you can do it. But he wanted to try. And so everybody got out of the car. Everybody got in a position. You know, one friend was there with the spare tire. Other friend was there getting ready to start unscrewing everything. I didn't have a job, so I just stood there, you know, as a witness to record, you know. And we know that there is a way to work out. We know if you want to lift, there's a way to do it correctly. You're trying to deadlift, try to squat, you get your legs shoulder width apart. You go ahead and make sure your knees stay in line with your feet so you're not buckling one way or the other. You go ahead and put your butt out when you're trying to pick it up. You keep your back neutral, keep your core engaged and everything. You lift it up, make sure your neck is neutral and stuff. We know all of these things. This man got in the weirdest position I've ever seen in my entire life. This man got, okay, so he got under the bumper like, okay. Y'all get it? We were like, no, it didn't move, because it's a car. How long did you think you were lifting it? What world are you in? And he's like, oh, you know what? That's my bad. That's my bad. No, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. I'm gonna turn around. Turn around. You know that lift that's famous for being much easier, where they go to the Olympics and they put the bar behind them to pick it up. You know that thing that we've all seen before. This fool turned around, put his back to the car, like, okay. And then he had the nerve to be like, y'all ready? Y'all must have got it that time, right? And we're like, no, it didn't move because it's a car. You can feel yourself not moving it, right? And I knew he was hurt this time because he just wanted to walk off. But he was still in position. He was like, I'm done messing with y'all. Y'all not even serious. I can't believe it. Oh. Over here doing my job for me. That's right. Don't apologize. Let them think I earned those extra laughs. No, but the truth of the matter is that you have the same thing happening, you know? We kind of, I'm not saying we figured it out, but we kind of addressed it with the Barbie in theory. And there's something that's like laid out all across the internet. And it's made me think about the question that I was asked: who taught you to hate yourself? And I finally answered it in my own head. It's probably, whoever taught you to hate yourself is probably selling you something. That's all it is. We recognize it. We've learned to see it with women when it comes to makeup, when it comes to a certain fit, all that stuff. But with men, you don't see it called out in that same way. Because trust me, all these dudes, all these manosphere bros, all these red pill dudes, every single one of these guys is also selling a course. Oh, that's curious. I thought we were brothers and you wanted to help me get girls. Why are you selling me? Okay. And some of it, we have to remember, because all of these people, no matter who you're talking about, young boys, young girls, all these people are very young, they're very impressionable, and they're trying to get a sense of the world. And you can fill the lunchbox as best as possible. But one thing that's assured is that all of your best qualities will not just be passed down. I wish it was true. And you can fill that lunchbox with as many good things as possible. But it then is up to them, when they're with their friends, when they're by themselves, to actually look at what's been given to them and not just trade it for a bunch of junk. Because now you have parents who feel like out of nowhere they're meeting a new person, a person that they didn't raise. They hear these things being said that they never taught their kid, and they're like, where did this come from? And some of it, not all of it, but a good portion of it can be blamed on being online. I think it's a mistake to just say that it's online throughout. Just go ahead and throw away the phone. Don't let the kid get on the computer or anything, because the people posting these things are real people out in the world. So those ideas are running rampant in the world anyway. But I do think that it's in how algorithms are built. You know, you show genuine curiosity for one thing, and all they're trying to do as a company is hold your attention, keep you on the platform. So they see you choose one thing, so they send you more of that thing. And so it sends you down a rabbit hole. We always blame ourselves for falling down a rabbit hole, but it is what's served to us after we just watch one thing. You know, you watch one alpaca kick somebody in the chest. And then socials are sure, they're like, this must be his favorite thing. Let's go ahead and keep running them. You know? And I'm blessed that I am who I am. I was born when I was born. I have my own problems, my own worries and everything. The hardest life you're ever gonna have to live is your own, which is why I do my best not to judge anybody, because I think genuinely that if I had been born as them in a different time, I'd probably be just like them. You know? And so I truly believe that one of the it's so funny when somebody tries to start a clap, but y'all aren't like feeling it. It's like I don't say anything for claps, but every once in a while somebody feels moved to clap, but then they realize it's not like an everybody clap. Like, No. I didn't want the, but I didn't, you know. Let me earn it. but the truth is that, like, when it's that easy, I think we have to look at these problems as interlinked, you know? Because people talk about incels, they talk about people who've taken the black pill, all that stuff like that. And you gotta recognize truly that these like incels, whatever people end up calling them, they don't really hate women, they hate themselves. That's where all that comes from. And I can only imagine if I was a kid now and I came home and I got online and I typed into Google or any platform, especially social, why would she eat my cookie but then kiss somebody else? I'm in for a world of trouble. I'm immediately, with one prompt, getting into some really bad stuff. Because I bet you, because the people online are not necessarily talking to anyone. They're speaking to their own experiences and broadcasting them, projecting them on other people in every situation. And so if I type that in, I'm not getting back the answer I would get from an adult that's like, hey, look, these things happen. Maybe this person knew that you liked them. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the same thing would have happened either way. I know that's hard to hear, but there are so many people in the world. There's billions of people in the world. There are more people in the world than you can count right now because you're not great at math. That's what, to me, I'm not acting like I'm an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a sociologist. I haven't met every person. I don't know what everyone is going through. But to me, that's the key. That's what solves it when people are like, what do we do? What do we do? You just stay in each other's lives as much as possible. You know? All of this missing stuff gets filled in by the internet because we aren't there to do it. And I don't just mean parents. I mean like real community. I mean everyone that you know. Do you tell the people in your life that you know that you love them all the time? Do you never let a day go by without the people in your life knowing and feeling like they're loved by you? It just takes you. It only takes you. And so when you have something like that happen, you type it, you come home, you're crying, you're like, ooh, why was she with the cookie and the kisses? I'm not likely to get someone who's gonna give me a solid answer, an answer I can take to the rest of my life. You know? I'm probably gonna get somebody coming on, big old shoulders, being like, that's right, that's what women do, they take cookies. And best believe, brother, she's coming for your cookie tomorrow. And next time she won't want half, she's gonna want the whole thing. That's why you gotta shut these women down before they get your cookie. If it even gets that specific. I remember I was in college. College was the first time that, like a lot of people, that I was out of the house, and I was really out there by myself. I had to make all new friends. It was good for me though. I had to just get acquainted with a new environment, and I had never been somewhere where it was all up to me. Go to bed whenever you want, do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, right? As long as you're getting good grades, nobody really cares. As long as you're not causing a bunch of havoc, no one's gonna say anything. And I made a friend when I was in college, and we had a conversation one night that was genuinely transformative because when someone opens up, and I'm not trying to be particular here, but it's true. When someone opens up, especially a man that's never opened up before, what happens next in that moment is crucial. It's incredibly important. Mishandling that moment almost guarantees that not only will the wall go back up, it's gonna have another layer of bricks. It's gonna be even harder to break down. And we just got to talking. I don't even know who shared first, but he told me things. He told me about his anxiety, depression, his feeling, his lack of purpose, all the things that he thought that he was missing in the world, and everything that he thought he was not worth, and things he thought he would never get. And it was all just like coming out so earnestly. And so then I did the same. I told him things. I told him about my anxiety, my depression. I told him about everything that I was going through, how I felt about myself, how I felt about the world, the people around me. Like nothing would really matter if I was here or not, right? And we shared for a while. And then when it was over, we realized like we were the only people we had told these things to. Everything else we expected to just take to the grave, and we had just told it to each other because there was someone there to listen. And I know sometimes it can happen where like a man opens up to you and you don't know what to do. And so I'll give you one tip. If you really don't know what to say, if things are coming at you and there are things you would have never imagined coming out of this man's mouth, just hit him with a word. It won't fix everything, but it's a good placeholder. Because as men, sometimes word is all we really need. We're like, yep, you get it. See, you get it. But truly, we shared a lot, and in that moment, we didn't know what to do, so we just hugged it out. And don't get me wrong, it was a manly hug. You know, we tightened our arms around each other and we hit the pats. That's how you hug as a man. You go ahead with the. Watch the end of Top Gun Maverick. Both those men ready to cry, and they still do. I don't know what to do, so I gotta hit it. And it was a long hug because once again, these are things we thought we would never be able to tell anybody else, and we're holding on to each other tight and we're patting each other back hard. And I'm not proud of it. But eventually, I did burp. And what happens in the moment that a man opens up to you and you open up to another man is crucial. When I burped, I was like, no. I'm never opening up again, okay? What I look like? I just poured my soul out and I got burped by my boy? Never. No, we not on that. Oh. But I genuinely believe from the bottom of my heart, for every person, no matter how you feel, and some of that feeling is going to be advertisements shooting at you. Oh, you'll just be whole when you have this, when you get this. Someone trying to sell you something, trying to make you feel less so then you can be at least level after they give you their thing. But truly, I hope everyone can really hear this and understand this. If you are in the world, you know, I remember when it was told to me for the first time, it also stuck with me. If you're part of the world, you must be worth the world. And I hope that everybody can feel that way, that you're really worth the world, because you're here. You know? And I think about it because there's a whole new generation of people coming up. They're dealing with something we've never had to deal with before. Like I think of Squish's kid. I was very nervous when Squish became a father because he has dropped everything I've ever seen him hold. He's one of the clumsiest mans, it's insane. But he is kind, and he is generous, and he has a good heart. And it'll be a better world if Squish's kid is like him. I hope that that's possible. I hope he can turn out just like his dad. It'll be a better world. It'll be a more haphazard world. Like it'll be a different type of dangerous, but